Welcome back to WeTalk. If you're out there in the rest of the country, hello, thank you for joining us. Everybody who's still here, thank you. Our panels have just been so rich and glorious, and we just keep talking in between, hence the name WeTalk. And so we can't seem to settle into our schedule, which is that this is our final panel, but it is absolutely so rich in nutrients as well. So I want to introduce you to my panelists. Debbie Flint, the CEO of LAX. She described, I'm going off script here, but I mean, I have stats and things I can offer, but I have to say I met her on Delta One. Both of us, well, she was dressed a little better than I was in my sweatpants and a cutoff shirt after shooting. And we just couldn't stop talking. We just hit it off so much. And she wouldn't tell me what she did, you know? And I kept saying, what is it that you do? Because she was coming from some science conference, some sustainability conference.
Yeah, that's right.
And she said, well, I've always been into fixers. You know, I've been into flipping things. Well, can we think of any bigger project than flipping LAX? I mean, the fourth busiest airport in the world, 200,000 passengers traveling through it every day. And she offered the stat to me then and there and said, and ranked number 90. And then you picked it up.
That's right.
94
That's
or what?
Right, on the flip. Yeah, now we're in the top 70.
Top 70.
Right. You know, we're on our way.
Anyway, a woman who likes a challenge and a beautiful woman at that. Maria, who I was introduced to through Debbie, runs sustainability for United Airlines, which leads aviation, apparently, leads commercial aviation in terms of its sustainability. Yeah. And
we try hard.
that there is a director of environmental policy for United is comforting in and of itself. But she's responsible for managing global sustainability efforts and is trying to grow the use of sustainable fuel. And so I guess you're making it from land waste. She'll tell us more about this, but decreasing the footprint by 50% by 2050.
Right.
Right. So that's great. So I really look forward.
Thanks.
So yeah. So we have sustainability in the air, and then we have sustainability on the ground. And what I found fascinating about Cindy Montanez, CEO of TreePeople, is, I mean, also known, probably you know her as the youngest California State Assemblywoman ever elected. She was elected at 28. Yeah. For those of you who don't know what TreePeople is, it's a nonprofit organization that's dedicated to increasing LA's tree cover. And what I learned from her team is that when you don't have, when you're low income, you're low shade in this town. And the temperatures rise in the inner city. And it's just another, it's just another thing that is causing death, it's causing sickness, it's just another, really, so planting trees, and I guess we can all do it, and you'll tell us all about that, is a big way out. And also water features. And there's a number of things that we can do in Institute in Los Angeles that TreePeople is on the front of. So thank you for joining us today. And then Lori David right here produced An Inconvenient Truth, executive produced Fed Up. Yeah, just made Biggest Little Farm. These films are huge. Yeah, no, I just saw it, and it's like Charlotte's Web, but real. Wow. It was amazing. That pig, Emma, my Lord. What a beautiful, gives birth to like 25 pigs. You got to see this, Mom. It's incredible. Yeah. But then you're farming.
Yes.
You're farming, and you're on your Instagram influencing people.
Yeah.
And
Twitter. I don't know
you
why
think
I
we
talk
all
to
need
you
to
about
be
my Instagram, which is private, and I'm on Twitter because every day something drives me crazy, and I'm on Twitter all day long. But for some reason, I talk to you about my Instagram account. I don't know why.
Well, what you told me about was that you and Larry put Prius on the map.
Yeah,
as
well, we help.
Right, and then you felt it was, and then you noticed as automobile companies turn their backs on the same promises that they had made.
Yeah, I'm upset about that.
You just tell them now's the time to vent.
Well, they're fighting the fuel economy standards in California. It's outrageous. We bailed the auto industry out with the promise that they would raise fuel economy standards. They can raise fuel economy standards. And now, along with the White House, they're saying, no, we're not going to do it. And it just makes my blood boil. And we have to stop buying those cars. I mean, Toyota is one of the companies that going back on fuel economy standards. I've been driving a Prius since they came out. So I'm very angry about it, and we all have to go to electric. Anyway, that's my soapbox for the moment.
I have electric.
Good,
My brother has electric.
good.
It's good. It's actually, just like we started WeTalk talking about how much the industry's changed in a year, I feel like, that's happened with gender, with our understanding of sexuality this year has just like, everybody's bisexual now. Like there's like, it was used to be weird. It used to be a thing. It's like, are you not? Now it's weird not to be. And you used to not know where to plug in your car, and now it's like, where's the plug? Like you just plug in anywhere you go. So, are you driving electric?
I am.
Are you guys?
I'm about to buy one.
Sorry to put you on the spot. You have an electric plane.
Working on that.
Let's start with you down there, Debbie. So it's not the fourth busiest, it's the third busiest.
No, it's the fourth.
Oh,
Fourth
okay.
busiest in the world.
Okay, fourth busiest in the world.
Second busiest in the country.
And you're also leading LAMP,
Yes.
Land Side Access Modernization Program.
That's
It's a $5.5 billion. So when we're waiting in line for 30 minutes to get into LAX right now, is that what we're waiting for? Is that a train you're building or something?
There's
What are
a
you doing?
train being built. So yes, it is happening. Actually, LAX is being totally transformed, and I know that people have been hearing that for a really, really long time, right? Like, really? That finally? But it's actually happening. $14 billion. Every settlement agreement, community agreement, environmental clearance has been had. Contracts have been competed, procured, have been let. Designs have been done, and there are big, massive pieces of equipment at LAX digging up the earth, installing piles and columns that will be the future of an LAX that when you are asked to go pick someone up, you will not have to think about how much you love them and whether you'll really do it or not. So it's on its way. We refuse to be the barometer of love and relationships anymore. And so I look outside of my office early morning, late night, and literally see the construction equipment building what will be a 2.25-mile automated people mover system that will change the front door of LAX and actually expand the footprint to what's needed to accommodate over 86 million passengers that travel through there today. I think one of the things that people don't realize is that whereas we're the fourth busiest airport in the world, we're actually the largest origin and destination airport in the world as well, meaning more people begin and end their trip, meaning they're coming into the roadways and into the front door of the airport than any other airport in the world. And that's challenging, it's painful in many regards, but it's also a sign of how robust and amazing it is to be here in Southern California. The people want to come and invest and do business and be part of the entertainment industry and the new technology industry and visit friends and family and tourism, right? So that makes our front door very, very busy. And that's a wonderful thing from an economic perspective, but it's been a challenging thing, just like the rest of LA traffic is, to get into the airport. But Hope Springs alive. We are underway with this construction program. The train will be opening in 2023. And it's a little, as I've said, and I know you've seen it, and maybe some of you were on Twitter, but hopefully you were nice. It's going to be a little bit more painful, right? Because within this very tight footprint, developing all of this infrastructure, something has to give, and we have to change and be fluid over the course of the next 2.5 to 3 years in particular, where it's going to be most intense, to do this construction safely and securely and as quickly as possible. But it's underway.
Wow. And so And what does that do in terms of sustainability for how does that bring our footprint down?
Oh, incredible. So today, when you travel through the CTA, you often or our central terminal area, you'll often be beside or stuck behind large rental car shuttle buses, other large shuttle buses that you see spewing diesel exhaust, creating traffic jams. When we open this train, it will connect to 2 offsite garages, one of them being a new rental car center. So all of that traffic will literally disappear and be gone from the airport. So an incredible number of vehicles and vehicle equivalents will be removed. And that's just day one, the moment the train opens, that happens. In addition, we know that the best international global cities and airports all have rail connections, and it's commonplace, more convenient, more expected from our foreign visitors and foreign travelers to take the train to and from the airport. And so that will be finally a reality for everybody that's visiting LAX and Los Angeles as well.
So are you two working together? And I mean, I saw pictures of you with different airlines. I mean, you're visiting all of the different terminals. So how did you two meet, and how are you collaborating on moving United and other airlines towards biofuel?
Yeah, so I don't want to dominate the conversation, but one of the things that I do and take very seriously is using LAX as a platform to be a change agent for airports across the world. And I sit on the World Governing Board of Airports, and we talk about policies and initiatives that strengthen the industry, whether that's economics or, obviously in this case, sustainability. And just this past few months, it's a bit of a blur, but our World Governing Board agreed that airports need to, we passed a mandate that airports ourselves would challenge ourselves and meet the Paris Agreement, which is carbon neutral by 2050.
Wow.
So we are. I mean, it's a big step for airports because there are many things that we do control, the facilities and the buildings on the land, but we don't buy the aircraft and we don't control the aircraft. So in order to meet that mandate, we have to work very closely with our partner carriers and the airlines to help collaborate, find solutions, help progress the industry so that together we're reducing the carbon footprint and other environmental impacts that come from aviation.
That's awesome.
And what I find is that it's really great having Deborah and her team as partners so that we can work together to move the ball forward in the right direction. I think that one of the really important things about Los Angeles and the airport is that it is the first place that we have daily flights with sustainable aviation fuel. Every flight that we fly out of LA has sustainable aviation fuel, and that means it's actual jet fuel, but it's made from waste oils, waste agricultural products like like beef tallow, things like that. Are refined into actual jet fuel. So it's no different than the jet fuel that is made from fossil fuel, but it is important that it can go into a plane just like any other fuel goes into a plane. We do that at LA.
Yeah. Yep. It's great. I shouldn't pick favorites, but I have to say that United definitely owns its reputation of being one of the most sustainable, if not the most sustainable and environmentally friendly airline in the business. So it's really great to have them as partners. Thank you for all you do every day in pushing the industry.
Yeah, and how do you do that? I mean, I'm just curious, as a laywoman, how do you choose the companies that are? I mean, I remember just documenting tons of startups during one of my little phases, and I documented a lot of startups that were making biofuel. Are you partnered with one particular? Is there somebody leading the race? Like, how do we support this effort?
Well, it's interesting. In the beginning, there were quite a few small startup companies, like you're saying. There are a few that have survived, but they didn't all survive. What we've done is help with the legislative things that needed to happen in order to make incentives for sustainable aviation fuel, because it has to compete with biodiesel. So a regular oil refiner doesn't have a lot of incentive to, instead of fossil fuel, suddenly start making the sustainable aviation fuel. So we work with smaller startup companies like World Energy, who is in Paramount, California. We also have a company that we own equity in called Fulcrum Bioenergy that is building refineries to take landfill waste, so garbage like you're throwing out today, and gasifying that and making it into jet fuel as well. So we're very invested in that, and also looking for other partners, the ones that have really shown that they can do this work, because you have to use the right source for your fuel. You don't want to be competing with food crops. It's very important to stake your claim in the right place of the space.
Wonderful. Cindy, tell us about Tree People's mission and where you're
Okay.
focused right now.
So Tree People's been around for almost 50 years, and we are now, thanks to the support of many, the largest environmental organization in Los Angeles.
Wow.
And I am very proud to be probably, I think, the first female CEO of Tree People. So our mission, we are on a mission to inspire literally millions of people to take climate action by a very simple act of planting a tree. Everybody can do that. And how are we going to do that? We do this through the most incredible environmental education programs. For those of you that are parents, you've got to send your kids to our eco tours because they're just fun and exciting, and it just opens the mind and the imagination of kids to connect to nature. And those kids, we find out later, are parents that bring their kids back because they want their kids to have that same experience that they had when they came to Tree People 20 years ago or 30 years ago on this eco tour.
What would happen if we all plant a tree?
If we all planted a tree, we actually have done these studies. In Los Angeles alone, if we set certain targets, we could actually cool Los Angeles by a degree Celsius. And if we all know what our targets are across the world, Los Angeles could make a difference by, again, that simple act of planting a tree. So you will see us with our green Tree People t-shirts all over, from the national forest to the local mountains, in schools, in parks, open space, you name it, in your communities. We are there uniting people to come together to plant trees. Why? Because you have the ability, with climate change, you have the ability, we all have the ability to make our communities greener and healthier and more climate resilient. And I have to just point out that one of the things that we've seen in the last couple of years is that we have seen a significant increase in the number of women and youth that are part of our programs. And we've seen that at the global level, that it's women and youth that are out there being part of the climate action movement, which is rapidly growing. Why? Because it's women and children that are at the front lines of feeling the threats of climate change. So when climate disasters happen all over the world, it's women that are more likely to lose their jobs. It's women that are most likely to not have a home. It's women that are most likely to not have the financial ability to recover from that climate disaster. But yet, when we look at who's making decisions on clean energy and clean water and climate change, it's not women. Very few women are at the tables, but we've also have seen, and NRDC actually has done fantastic work. Lori sits on their board. They've done work where they show that when women rise to power, and if women are heads of governments all over the world, they are more likely to stay in the process of keeping their countries forward thinking and involved in climate policies. So it's so important for women, for us to continue to be at the table to make sure that we express like our the threats that are happening, the impacts that are happening against us as women. And if we don't, we're going to see situations like we're seeing not far away. It's not just animals and polar bears that are being impacted. It's people here in our own communities. In Los Angeles, for example, if you look at one of the biggest threats is the doubling or tripling of days that are 95 degrees or hotter. We have lived through that. We have lived through the hottest years recorded ever in our history. What happens is that the elderly, African American women, and Latinos are more likely to die, not just get sick, but to die after the 5th consecutive day of those extreme heat days.
Did you see that? Go back to the other slide. The difference in temperature.
You look at the difference. Exactly. So take a look at this. Just by planting a tree, if you are that person waiting for your kid to get out of school, waiting for the bus stop, If you're under a tree, it could be 75 degrees. If you are away from the tree where there's no trees, it could be a difference from 75 degrees to 125 degrees. So, yeah, so to plant trees, I love the questions. Ask the questions. Yes, so trees can be planted essentially anywhere. They are, trees are meant to be part of our daily lives. So we're planting trees in the National Forest. We're planting trees in the Santa Monica Mountains. We are planting trees in neighborhoods from Malibu to Calabasas to Pacoima to Pomona. We are in Watts, Southeast Los Angeles. We are everywhere. And our model is to train people. So if you don't live in Los Angeles, you still could be a tree person. We can train you. We can train you to go back to your communities anywhere in the world because we believe that everyone fundamentally is a tree person, right? We are all tree people, and we want to make everyone tree people. So I invite you all to become part of this movement. It's fun. You meet a lot of people. Your own brother, I was talking to David earlier.
There he is.
Your own brother was telling me that years ago, we planted trees in his neighborhood in Los Feliz and told me one of those special moments that he had that day that he remembers. He still visits the tree because I asked him, do you still visit your tree? Because we actually get together once we finish planting a tree. We actually all get together, we hold hands, and we have this saying that says, trees need people, and people need trees. And we welcome the tree that you just planted. So David planted Jack because, so I asked David if he still goes to visit Jack, and he tells me yes, he still goes to visit Jack.
Hence the title, Tree People.
And hence, yes.
But I want to tell you that my first volunteer job when I moved to LA from New York was at TreePeople.
Oh, I love
It was the first place I
Love
worked.
this.
And also, it's a great gift if instead of giving more junk to people, you can buy a tree, you can pay for a tree in someone's name for their birthday, for their anniversary, and I've done that a
Exactly.
lot. And that's a great idea, and it's much better than flowers, and it lasts a lot longer.
Exactly. Lori's right. Get a tree dedication, right?
And
for all these reasons.
One other thing on the temperature, which is that one of the terrifying things that's happening with the climate crisis is that the nights are now not cooling off.
That's right.
So imagine a world where it's normal for it to be hot and then it cools off at night, but now the nights are the same temperature as the days. And that is a terrifying thing that's happening.
Exactly. Imagine babies, right? Children. Children are meant to go through this cycle that Lori's talking about, that their bodies have to cool off. More of their bodies is made out of water. So as the temperature rises, a child's natural body will get hotter. And if there's never an opportunity for a cooling to happen, that child is more likely to get sick or in the worst case scenario to actually die. And we have seen and we've done research at TreePeople, and we've partnered with Natural Resources Defense Council and other of our environmental partners to show that there are actually, even though there's all these threats, there are things that we can do to begin to protect people and actually be able to heal the earth. And we need to acknowledge that of the biggest climate threat that exists right now in the public health arena, the biggest threat that we have in public health is climate change. So we are all impacted. It doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter what income you have or you don't have. Every single one of us is impacted, but it's especially important for us to note that it's women and children that are the front lines of these disasters.
Yeah, I mean, back when was An Inconvenient Truth?
So it was like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
But can I just tell you something?
Yeah.
The only thing that we got wrong in that movie was the speed of change. The only thing. And every day there's a headline now where they're saying it's happening faster than we thought. It's happening. Greenland melting faster than we thought. That's the only thing we got wrong, because it's not about your children's children. It's about right now, us right now.
Right.
And
How do you keep you just made Biggest Little Farm.
right.
You're
So
farming.
this
You
is a
just
movie-
harvested sweet potatoes.
I know, but The Biggest Little Farm is a great. First of all, I want everyone to see it. It's streaming on Hulu right now. And
so
it's
good.
and this is sort
Fabulous.
of the entertainment piece of this, which is that we have to tell stories where people get this in a way
That's
that
accessible, that has
that's
hope.
accessible. And this documentary, I'm so proud of it. It's a documentary, but it plays like a narrative. And there are things you're going to learn when you watch this movie that you cannot
Do you have a
anticipate
clip?
going
Do
in.
you want to see it first?
Yeah,
You wanna do
let's
that
see a
first?
clip. Yeah,
All right,
let's see
let's
a
watch a
clip.
clip.
The post office called us at what time?
5:30.
For this.
They're the cutest things I've ever seen.
What do you think of this, Todd? Why are you so mean?
It was like every animal you'd see in a children's book.
Each with a purpose to contribute. 100 baby ducks.
It was everything that we had ever talked about. I can hardly stand it. Presenting Kaya and Rosie, our livestock guardian dogs. Well, one day.
Molly and John are very happy about this, but Todd is not. He won't even look at us. Here's the new chicken house. There's some chickens over there. And the sheep like the chicken house too. What do you think, chickens? Why? What are you guys doing in my office? Oh boy. Poor Todd. Back with Great Pyrenees again.
The thing about Todd the dog is the premise of what happened to this young couple is that they were living in Santa Monica. They end up rescuing a dog, and as a result, they end up rescuing a farm. And the farm that they rescue is completely dead at the beginning of this movie. And of course, they're right near where all the fires have been, so there's a lot of things that go on, but it is such a fantastic film, and it's great to watch with your family. Kids, I say age 8 and up. And I just think it's an important movie for everybody to watch.
And how are you living this movie?
Well, I think I was attracted to it because I also have a farm, and this is a regenerative farm. All these terms, you don't even hear these terms in the movie because they're almost too technical. But yeah, so this is my little farm thing. But again, I'm always, I'm just a big believer in using your whatever platform you have, even within your small circle, if it's a small circle or a bigger circle, to use it to educate people and to get people doing more. Guys, we're in a serious crisis, and the response to the crisis is not commensurate with the problem.
No.
It's not. And for every one of us, it's not commensurate for me. And I'm doing everything I can to try to spread the word and tell stories and work with environmental groups. But even I'm not doing enough. None of us are doing enough. So
Every time
buckle
I
up
stay at
and
a hotel or I'm in an office building at night and just every light is on.
Yeah, well, you got to push
everywhere.
back. Everyone has to be pushing back
I'm
all the
thinking
time.
we're not gonna
Check your
make it.
ingredients. Are you still buying products with palm oil? Everyone should just go home and look in their cabinets and see if palm oil's in anything, because they're devastating the forest for this stupid product. And that's something, when we push up against government, things change.
So who do we follow? Who do we follow?
I'm on Twitter, and you could follow me, Lori David, on Twitter, and then you'll get aggravated every day too. 'Cause I need to share that with people.
And then
Yeah,
you
you can
also
follow us at TreePeople. We are constantly talking about things that you can do that are easy, because we try to make it just where it's easy and it's fun and everybody
and it's
can
so
do it.
important. That's like something simple people can do is just join an environmental group.
Yes.
Okay, it's $15 for a membership for NRDC.
tell us
I'm
about.
sure-
Yeah, I mean,
Just come out and volunteer. We've got
I'm a
thousands
regular
of people.
NRDCer.
Good.
But I think that, am I alone in this? I get like 50, I give to charity, so I get like my whole mailbox every day. So just the paper alone, I can't even believe. But then I also don't know which ones are, I'm just buying stationery to send to everybody else, or calendars.
Which groups to support? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Well, I
mean,
think you
there's
support the
Greenpeace
ones
and
that are
there's-
the most effective.
So who do you think is the most effective?
So I would say if you want to do something local, I think Tree People is perfect. If you want to do something local and national, NRDC is the most powerful and impactful environmental group in the world. They have offices in Beijing and DC, and they help write the Clean Air Act, they help write the Endangered Species Act. They're working every single day, so you don't have to be thinking about this every second. And all those lawyers,
And
they're
they
making
filed-
5 times more money in private practice, and they're committed environmentalists. They just filed their 100th lawsuit
Yeah.
against the White
I read
House.
that yesterday, yeah.
And they win 95% of their cases, FYI. So they don't just file suits, they also win. And when you support that group, they represent you in DC. They walk in there and say, we have 3 million members, we have 5 million members. I mean, that is powerful. So everyone needs to join an environmental group, for sure.
And you have lots of choices in aviation as well. It may not seem like it. It may seem like you have just a limited number, but I mean, I think, you can see which airlines are being more sustainable and are really on the cutting edge and make those decisions about how you spend your dollars. One of the things that was really impactful for me, and I think for many of us, especially women in the industry, is a young lady. She might be 16 now, but she was 15, and her name is Greta Thunberg. And so, I mean, she's a force to be reckoned with, and she truly believes she's from Europe, and believe that just concerns that is her generation the last, and she started a whole movement known as flight shaming. Which is when you have a choice, elect to take, high-speed rail, electric rail, stay local versus flying short distances especially. But I really, I'm watching it resonate, particularly in Europe, which tends to be a little bit more advanced than us here, at least in aviation, and really thinking about that as it relates to U.S. aviation. And as I said, really pushing at a world level for us to be much more focused on sustainability. When it comes to your choice of airports, I mean, I'm very happy. Look at everything that we're doing at LAX, not just from carbon footprint, solar energy, but also when I think about sustainability, I think about what we do at the essence of airports and aviation. Our mission is to serve the world, connecting people, places, and cultures. So I really believe it's a service-driven calling that we are in the business of doing each and every day. And in so doing that, we're empowering women through our development program, making sure that whether it's in STEM or particularly in construction today, this is a big focus you'll see for us at LAX, with especially knowing that we're spending $14 billion. That's such a small moment in time that we can create an incredible impact and change lives. So our Hire LAX program is all about very difficult to employ people and helping train them to have actual, not just jobs or training, but careers and new lives as a result of the construction opportunity.
That's beautiful.
And being able to be at LAX.
So you have you're hiring a large amount
it's an
of
incredible.
minorities and
Yeah, and really difficult to employ people. My best, of course, are when you see women getting into heavy construction, right? Women that are in the iron workers and that are in the trades now that, formerly, I mean, literally some of these women who I've met were homeless, didn't have a path to access to take care of themselves. And now they've gone through this incredible program, Hire LAX. There are definitely a number of ways to support that program, but also just send people to the program because we believe in it. I look at the new project that we're being built, and there are over 100 people who are the best workers building this new, most technologically advanced concourse that's going to open in the nation next year. So they're real literal ways that even in something as big as aviation and transportation may seem like you can't touch it or get to it, but they're actually ways, I think, to make your voice heard in your dollar, who you fly, where you fly, and how you fly, and then also in the programs behind infrastructure, even behind the $14 billion.
Are you the first female CEO?
No, there's a great track record at Los Angeles World Airports. I'm actually the 4th in a row.
Fantastic.
So it's a long track record of great women before me.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
We have a beautiful clip from Deborah, which I think will be the conclusion of our WeTalk. It's nice to end on getting back to it because we never played in the first place. It's just so gorgeous. And I'm the son of I'm the daughter. Well, what am I? Who cares? I am a person. I am the daughter of a man who founded an airline, so I'm particularly obsessed. But here's our future. This is it, right? This is what we're looking forward to.
There's a lot going on every day.
Tell us about it as we watch it.
Oh, let's see. Those are beautiful planes and trains. What can I say? That to me is all gorgeous, right? It's about 50,000 people that work at the airport each and every day.
And a lot of the equipment can be electrified.
Yep, we're definitely electrifying that.
Yeah.
Working with partners to do that. But you know, to me, this is just a story of connecting the world, right? At a time where people need to connect with each other, more so, I think, than ever. And I look at the airport, I look at that vision and that mission of connecting people and cultures. And then every time you see a crane or a project there, it's a story of real people that are part of massive construction.
You're
And
less
it's not about the
angry now.
buildings, but it's really about the people.
Pretty all sensitive about LAX now, right? You're like, we love LAX.
Before Thanksgiving.
Definitely listen to you.
All right, we're good.
On Twitter.
Thank you.
About
Hey,
United Lounge.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. This was a wonderful, I want to say thank you all. Thank you, Dell, and thank you, Red Bull, and thank you, Majority, and all of our panelists. Appreciate it. So, good night.